Have you seen footage of Unrecord? Have you heard of this game?
I have absolutely seen footage of Unrecord. I showed it to Paige, and she was like, "Yo, what the is that
Yeah.
real?" And I'm like, "No, it's not real." She's like, "You're full of that's not real." Like, it's the
So
first time I've encountered somebody like the game is so like realistically focused that I somebody who is savvy actually gets got by it.
it's of I've saw footage of it before it had a title. Months ago, there was a video that just popped up on Twitter in the game dev threads, and it was just this realistic shooter with no name, and you saw the body cam footage of this first person shooter looked extremely realistic and was just firing outdoors and then indoors. And it was interesting because like in that footage, the muzzle flash was so hyper exaggerated that it killed the immersion.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just
Um,
it's funny because it's this tiny little detail and you're like, "Oh, I see
and
it." And so
and a
you
lot
see
of
it.
people were like, okay, you gotta cool it on the muzzle flash, like that's too much, you know. But everything else was really, really fucking stellar. Um, Now more footage of that has come out. The game has a title. It's called Unrecord, and yeah, it looks insanely realistic because it's photogrammetry, right? This is tech that is not just a live rendering of an environment with dynamic lighting conditions. It's preset lighting, but it's all based on a real place.
So the
Um,
thing that gets
they,
me the most is the camera.
Mhm.
Is like I don't know how the camera works because it's correctly emulating the very awkward
Body
way that
cam.
a body cam turns when you turn your arms or your like it. That's the part that really gets me.
Yeah, it's not the floating arms with the camera at the neck that you usually get. It's actually located at the chest, you know? And it hangs low in the same way you get off of body cam footage. It's if you have a real location that you can one to one map with a set lighting configuration, you can get these results. They did it for the vanishing of
Ethan Carter.
Ethan Carter, and that's why that game looked so amazing like 10 years ago. But what you're trading off, of course, is the ability to have anything in the environment be dynamically lit, you know, or have a lighting
Mhm.
source really change. As long as the time of day never changes and everything is set the way it is, high noon is high noon, shadows are over there, and nothing's moving, you can get a realistic looking, especially on body cam, low quality kind of camera emulated footage thing. And Unrecord looks exactly like that. But people thought it was fake. They thought it was not a real rendering, not a real game. So then some extra footage was put out by the dev who was like, no, here's me, no clipping through the world, showing you the geometry and showing you that it's actually a video game. But people saw the viral video of that and kind of were like, this is not even a video game, shut up.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're absolutely fast approaching that point. And again, the tech has already been there. It's just pretty difficult to do. There's some limitations, and not everyone is willing to create a real set in real
Yeah.
life to then go and painstakingly photograph everything and recreate it digitally,
This
right?
feels like a game that was born out of, dude, I have a really cool abandoned building near where I work.
I got a warehouse right over there. Nobody uses it. It's been abandoned for years. We can do some cool shit.
Like this
Yeah.
feels like the opportunity like very obviously presented itself.
And, you know, if you want to level design something because that's your profession and you're good at level design, too fucking bad. You take what the world gives you, you know? But yeah, if you have access to like an abandoned boat or some rad
Yeah,
settings, you know what I mean? Like you could do some cool shit like this and work with it. Just never change the time of day.
ever. No, don't do it. It's the environment equivalent of the technological dead end that was the facial capture in LA Noire.
Right, right, right. Yes, yes.
It
We're
was
hitting a. Go ahead.
oh sorry, it's if people aren't aware, like in LA Noire, like the technological steps they had to take in order to capture their faces were ridiculous. You had to seat the person in a pure white chair in a pure white room. Their hair had to be short, tied up, or shaved, and they couldn't move their head while acting out their lines because they were being photographed by like 400 cameras or some shit. And it was this, wow, these faces are incredible. And then it's like, we can never use this for anything else. This is the most like limited fucking way to capture faces. It's so expensive. It takes forever. You can't move.
They've gotten a lot better now at the limitations of facial capture and performance and such. Obviously, Supermassive is showing that off all the time. Although they do have Supermassive face, you know. Yeah.
Like inventing that technology was supposed to bring that studio like tons of cash by licensing it out. But like it's fucking useless. It's useless to almost everyone other than people making a fucking 1940s like crime drama.
It's interesting because it's like the tech to make hyper realism, like questionably indistinguishable, uncanny valley annihilating realism, does exist. It's just prohibitively difficult and expensive, and Unrecord is one really dedicated person going hard on that environment and that setting. A team of people doing that with a massive budget. There's like, how many environments can you really, build like that over a given couple of years, and then to combine that with like the type of tech we're talking about facially and shit like that, like it gets so insanely expensive that it becomes impractical. Furthermore, we're happy with shitty old graphics on a bullshit stupid looking game that's fun to play.
And it's like, hey man, what kind of levels are we looking at? And he's like, this is what I have available in my neighborhood. These are the levels available. Well, could you do like a forest? No. I don't have one.
There's also something really interesting about watching footage of Unrecord, because unlike an FPS, when you see that body cam angle and you see the hyperrealism of the environment, you're primed to expect something horrible to happen.
Yeah.
Your brain is telling you.
It's the modern perspective of a tragedy.
Exactly. Your brain gets right into the place of like, okay, how's this gonna? Oh wait, it's a video game. So you're gonna have to jump over that hurdle when you're playing a game like that as well, which is this is a entirely learned new developmental thing culturally. The body cam angle and the hyper realistic environment just is like, oh god, fuck. All right.
And then you blow away everybody in that warehouse, and then you don't get a good score unless you go up to them and hit P for plant, and then you just get down and just sprinkle a little bit and put the drop gun under this guy, and there you go. You're done. Good score.
Yep.
A+.
Of course, you got anyway, press X to put tape over the cam and play blind, and have the real fun. Yeah.
Can you shoot all 20 dogs in the game?
I think what's probably going to happen realistically is I think it's immediately in Call of Duty's interest to probably go down this road hard. They're going to start, if they haven't already, building something that's gonna hit this type of realism. They've got the budget size and capacity for it, and that's the type of shit that would take over the news, take over the media, take over the, you know what I mean? Like if a Call of Duty game came out where every map looked like Unrecord, and that's just the new level that video games hit, that would be a giant story. That would I could see that happening. Now everyone get real uncomfortable as we fucking goose step over that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Shiny boots held high.
In the background while you've been talking a little bit, I'm watching one of the cutscenes from L.A. Noire. fucking unbelievable this game came out like fucking 15 years ago. It's an Xbox 360 game, and its faces are still better than most games now. And I foresee Unrecord to fall down the same hole of like, wow, that game looked wow, woo. No one's going to use that. No one's going to do that.
Unrecord is, as far as we know, an indie game, one developer, right? So it's automatically going to be infinitely smaller in scale. But we'll see.